Alright, how's it going? I recently bought a house that's made out of SIP panels. A SIP panel is a structural insulated panel. Okay, now I needed to cut some holes through the wall for some windows. Yeah, so I'm going to show you today how I went about cutting the holes in the structural insulated panels. Alright, here we go then. Okay, this is what a structural insulated panel is made out of. You've got a layer of OSB, a layer of polyurethane foam, and then another layer of OSB, oriented strand board, chipboard, right? So I wanted to cut a hole in the wall for my window. There's my windows. That's one of the new windows I had to cut. Now I've raced ahead a little bit before I decided to make a video, but I'll just show you how I cut the holes. Yeah. So I made this jig. Okay. Now what this does is it basically ensures I can drill a hole through the wall square. So I marked out on the wall the aperture of the window I wanted to cut. Then I screwed this to the wall with that hole in the corner, right? And then using a long auger bit, one of these babies, I kind of like used that as a guide, you see, to make sure that the hole was square. That way I can transfer the position of the aperture onto the outside of the wall. So I drilled the holes all the way through. Then I used a rail saw. I screwed the rail to the wall. I drilled some holes in the end of the rail, screwed the rail to the wall, cut through the board on the inside. Then I went onto the outside and did the same, joined up the holes effectively with the rail saw, screwed the rail on the wall, cut through. Doesn't quite go all the way through. Yeah, so then what I used is a hand saw to cut through the remaining polyurethane foam to cut out the aperture. And then out comes the aperture, yeah, which I showed you over there. They're the bits that I've taken out. Right, so then you're left with a hole that looks a bit like this. Okay, let's get a bit of sunlight on it. Now the problem you've got now is you've got to remove this foam to a depth of about 45 mil or more. And the reason being is you want to put in a piece of wood like this, see, into the gap. Yeah, that goes in there like that. Now, obviously you get lengths out of the right length. And you put some, you mist it with water before you put the wood in, and you just put some spray foam, you know, some gun foam in there first, and then you squidge that in there, and then you screw it through the face on both sides. Yeah, and you do that all the way round to make the a place for the window to fix to. So what I'm going to show you though is how to remove, or at least how I remove, the polyurethane foam down to that depth and do it in a neat fashion. Yeah. So what I did is I've made myself a little jig for a drill. Yeah, I've got a hole saw on there. I think that one's 92 millimeters. My SIP panels, that's 145, the gap, 92, and then I've got a disc of MDF on the back. I spaced it off with some nuts. Yeah, so the distance from there to there is probably about 48 mil. Yeah. And the bit of wood is 45 mil, so we've got about 3 mil, you know, of gap that the foam, that the spray foam fills up. Okay, now this is what we do, right? So it's going to be a bit tricky one-handed, but you basically drill lots of holes. I nearly lost my hand then. Now, I'll tell you what I might do. I'll put the camera down, and you can watch from a distance. Right, here we go. out like that. Yeah. Then I've got like a little trusty crowbar. Okay, I'll just check that the picture's still lined up. Yep, that's looking good. So we've got our trusty crowbar. Escoving one, this is as it goes. Yeah, just use that to hack out the middle. Right. Then we use the old multi-tool. Get down now between the OSB and the phone. Like that. Then a bit more munching, Right, then plastering trowel. Get in there and break the edges off. Like that. Break the edges off. And a bit more bidding. So the disc of MDF rests on the OSB and gives you your kind of depth. Yeah. And then clean it out again with the old plastering trowel. Bit more blue. But you get the idea. Can you see it? Sorry, the light's a bit bright. But yeah, like mills it out really nice and flat. Right, that's how I do it anyway. I mean, it takes quite a long time, but I think any method's going to take quite a long time. And I'm always in favour of using a power tool rather than just hand tools. So that's how you do it. Not a bad view, eh? Not a bad view at all.